Welcome back, everybody, to Esports Rewind Podcast. Hellos. Oh, you changed your shirt. God dang
yes,
it, dude.
I did.
I saw you 2 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, we're matching for the podcast. Okay,
yeah,
all
but
right.
I hate that shirt, though.
I guess you're going to just keep on hinting at the merch line. It's not even there yet, and so I can't say we're matching anymore.
Well, you don't want to have me be matching with you in that, trash Supreme shirt.
But
it's
either
garbage.
way,
I'm not going to wear that on camera. Who do you think I am?
All right, yeah. Our merch line, over Supreme any day, which is still coming soon, by the way. But besides that, welcome back, guys. Esports Rewind Podcast number 19.
Yeah, 19 episodes. We're this close to being legal to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the 21st podcast, you better believe we're just going to drink beers and, take shots.
We'll come in trashed already.
The intro's going to be, welcome back, everybody. Not even understand it. But if you guys are somehow new or if you guys are coming back, what's up? How's it going? My name is Jake. This is Zan or Zane. You guys can call him whatever you want. And we recap esports and gaming news here in a podcast form. We talk about our favorite topics, the craziest topics. And speaking of which, Zan, do you want to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's roll with it. I'll take the first story. All right, Zan, I want to hit this right off the bat because last week people listened in and we got a few angry comments because people don't realize.
I already know what this is. Yeah.
Optic fans are diehards, so I'm not going to blame them, but we pre-record our podcast. So last week we talked about Hector apparently possibly staying with Immortals Gaming, going with that Call of Duty roster. If you guys don't know by now, this is actually a pre-recorded podcast by about 4 days. And so obviously some huge news happened after we had recorded it and we didn't correct it because we don't go back and correct.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked this doesn't happen more often.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've actually had a story that's changed and people got mad about it. So luckily it only happens every now and again. If you guys do see comments about that, maybe reply to them and say, hey, Jake and Zan don't record the same day.
Jake and Zan are busy.
Yeah,
this is the only day we actually have time to record on.
Yeah, so for that we do apologize. Either way, bouncing into the biggest story I had this week, that's going to be a video coming soon on its own. You already probably know.
Yeah.
Hector Rodriguez, a.k.a. Hecz, has now joined NRG. I almost said Optic. He's actually left Optic, his baby, which is now pretty much, I think for the most part, dead in the water. And what I'm calling one of the biggest esports moves of all time, NRG has signed Hecz.
Is he going to redesign their logo? That's my main question.
Of course. That's the first thing you got to gun for.
That's the only thing I thought. I saw him wearing that hoodie and was like, how would you do that? Why would you, honestly.
How did you join Globo Gym? Or freaking A, man. It's fair. I think I don't know if there's many people out there that would be like, come on, Zan. It's a pretty freaking sick rebrand logo. Come on.
Really and truly, my guys, any graphic designer would look at that and be like, furious.
I will
actually angry.
To be fair, on their side for a tiny bit, the logo has grown on me a tiny bit. On the hoodie
Stockholm
itself,
syndrome.
Okay, you're right. They're keeping me captive. They're paying me to say this. Help. But I think, of course, bigger news than that is the fact they've actually now signed Hector. They recently signed the ex-Optic Gears of War team, the best Gears of War team in the world. They're now signing some Fortnite guys, apparently going to go enter potentially. We're not really sure if they're going to enter other things. Call of Duty is going to be one of them, clearly.
Yeah, I would hope so if Hecz is
involved. So, NRG is very much making moves. And I think it's going to be a video on its own that I talk about how big of a signing this truly is. But with that being said, I think a giant news out there is the future of Optic is now it's done. And it's kind of just weird.
They might as well just throw it in the trash at this point.
At this point, it's almost worse that we're dragging it out. It's we'll have an Optic COD team. No one you know is going to be there, but we bought the brand, so
we're going to put the name on it though. It's gonna
So if anyone wants to cheer for Optic, we're still Optic, which we're not. And so I guess closing points, I'll bounce a question off of you. With this now, and all rumors point to maybe a couple Optic guys for the COD team, go to LA and fill out that LA Optic roster, or less than half of it. Hector's gone. Do you, as Immortals, choose now to just ditch the Optic name and call your COD team LA Immortals or whatever they want to do for COD? Or do you somehow try and get $1 out of this Optic brand, which you definitely paid a bit for?
I think they probably have to at this point, right? Because it wasn't that long ago that they acquired Optic. It really wasn't. And the brand has been tanked to heck and back. obviously they've got to try to recoup their money somehow. I don't think anybody else will buy Optic at this point.
Yeah.
So they've got to try and do something with it.
I think it's a weird one because I think you will have those die hard fans that will always cheer for the name, and this will be the last ever team in esports of any esport out there to actually maintain the name. I honestly, if you guys can say it, maybe we'll reference back to this in the future. You heard it here first. I don't necessarily think Optic is fully dead. If it comes to the fact that Hector ever wants to go to his own thing and the Optic name is so dead that they have to sell it for whatever 6-figure, 7-figure price.
Right.
It could always happen. It's not going to be for a while now.
It could definitely have a resurgence. I agree. I agree with you on that.
So we'll see where it goes. Hector's now with NRG. We do apologize. Pre-recorded podcast.
All right. So this is an interesting story because it's really great for the esports industry. But at the same time, it sketches me out like so much.
Okay, all right. Good start.
Yeah, real optimistic. Coming in strong.
This could be really good, but I'm also freaking worried. All right.
So this company called PlayVersus, have you heard of them?
I don't think so.
Yeah, so they've started a high school league for esports competitions.
Okay.
At the state level. So they're doing this thing where basically in a state, let's say Nevada, just as an example. You get a bunch of schools in the district, like a bunch of high schools. Everybody signs up online, and their system makes it so that schools can compete against each other organically, super easily. Pardon me, and all that jazz.
Sounds pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, big news is because we've heard of like several different organizations like this trying to start like tournament systems and all that. This is the first one that's actually backed by the National Federation of State High School Association, which is essentially the NCAA of high school.
Okay, I was going to say, who is that? I've never heard of them.
Yeah.
But are they pretty big? They're pretty well known across the high school regions?
I don't think people know the organization very well, but like I said, they're essentially the NCAA. This is the organization that runs all the high school level football, soccer. They do actual like high school sports, right?
Okay, actual events.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a weird. Well, you guys know what I mean. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, already established events.
I think it's fair to say that like the American high school sports system is very much more of a thing than any esports thing we got going in America right now.
Okay, that's a weird statement. Well, let's just continue.
I get At current, the infrastructure is there. It's more developed. That's a household thing.
They know what they're gonna do for the next 50 years.
Yeah, right.
Like basketball and football, soccer.
Parents look at schools and they think, what kind of football team do they have?
Yeah.
They don't.
There we go. They have the structure for future. Like they can look down the line and say 2 decades we'll still be playing football, basketball, soccer. Maybe not football because we're getting off topic. Anyway, so high school
want to talk
esports.
about football some more? We can be like, that's the one with the bat thing.
Yeah, what? My kids. Anyway, Zan,
slam dunks, right?
Keeping us on freaking pace here.
Yeah. Anyway, they're throwing out some really interesting statistics, right? This came on my radar a couple days ago when they just got an additional $50 million in funding. They had already raised the money before that. Now
$50 million?
$50 million.
Holy
they're now
crap.
at $96 million in total.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
Right. And they only support League of Legends, Rocket League, and Smite for the moment. But
League of Legends, Rocket League, and Smite.
Yeah, which is an interesting trio.
That's a list.
Right. One of those might be a dead game. Not gonna say which one.
Which one it is. Like, what's that money going towards though? If you have 50 at first and now $96 million, is that just for like?
Yeah, I honestly don't know.
Because you're not paying out prize pools, right?
I don't know, and that's what sketches me out because they're holding so much of their information like so tight to their chest.
Yeah.
Right. Like for example, they say part of the reason they only support 3 games at the moment is they have partnerships with the publisher, so they can actually get statistics from the games and plug them into their system. Right.
Okay.
But they don't say what that statistics are. They don't say, oh, we're taking like your KD ratio or hey, we're taking your scores from Rocket League or anything like that. They're just like statistics.
Interesting.
Yeah.
They did choose some the safer games, right?
Yeah,
They're not
definitely.
choosing Call of Duty, CS:GO, the gory ones. So that makes sense to the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they are tracking though.
There's a lot of interest in this already though. There's 13,000 schools already on the waiting list to have a varsity team.
Okay, what happened to the whole thing? Like, dude, it was 3 months ago that people were reporting that my high school esports has shut down because of violence, and now we're just all of a sudden flipping the script. Like, oh, dude, this could be the future.
I looked it up. There are 14,048 schools in the United States that have a football team.
And so now we already got 13,000 that
13,000 that are interested in esports.
We're coming for you, football.
Yo,
I told you weren't going to be here in 50 years.
Wash out.
Yeah, imagine. Imagine. We're going to be wearing pads pretty soon. Brawling 5v5s in the hallways.
No, it's going to be people are going to walk through. They're going to whip out their phone
Dude.
and be like, hey, yo, you want to get hit a quick league match and all?
You want to get a hit of this? Like, dude, imagine. Frick, dude. Oh, my goodness. Imagine 50 years from now what high school kids are going to be like if football's gone and they'll be bragging about whole new things.
Yeah, right. I can't wait.
Like, eventually you get your girl or you get your guy because you're the best in the school at not football, but you're the best in school at League of Legends or Smite.
Or Overwatch or like
Smite won't be. Smite's not going to be here.
Well,
that's super crazy though. I hope the development goes in the right direction, and it's weird how all of a sudden high schools are like, this could be a thing. After
it's that 13,000 number is kind of shocking to me because I can't. Like, I was really involved at my old high school. Like, that wasn't that long ago with this type of thing. And getting approval for something like this is a long process, and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Like, I am shocked that 13,000 schools are actually in line. I don't know that 13,000 number is real.
Yeah.
It might just be 13,000 schools have one kid who went on the website and was like, I want a team.
Yeah, true. Which is also, it could be a possibility.
Which, hey, that's still valid. But at the same time, like, the company is literally saying, I wanted to check out their UI, check out anything. Nothing. Could not get into any of their systems.
For 96 million raised, that's pretty sketchy.
Right, yeah. Like, there's a lot of big name people, like the San Francisco 49ers invested.
Okay.
P. Diddy invested. The co-founder of Twitch is involved.
Okay, all right.
Right? Like, so
it definitely has some big backing. So hopefully that's great news. And I think we'll leave it off with a question to all of you guys. If you are in high school, do you have an esports club, or do you guys have some sort of video game that's, has its own some sort of establishment? And let us know, because I've heard more than not that people have got shut down, but apparently things are going the other direction, which is great.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, continuing the topic of somewhat sketchy things, right? High school esports might sketch you out. So here's what sketched some people out there: the possibility of franchised esports leagues.
Yeah.
So,
I'm also sketched out by that.
Yeah, because we've always talked about the esports bubble. We talk about, of course, the most upcoming one, that being Call of Duty World League or Call of Duty League. That's their franchise. We got Overwatch established. We got League of Legends established, but we don't know longevity-wise if it's a good call for esports or all, obviously some esports probably attuned to it better than others.
Right.
And so now the question is, we actually have other games out there speaking out, or at least developers, about, hey, we don't want that. So Valve has actually made a huge statement with their last CSGO blog. Again, probably about 4 to 5 days late for all of you guys watching right now, but a huge announcement, because we actually had in the past few weeks, we had huge franchise or semi-exclusive leagues announced for CSGO. One was called Blast Premier. The other was ESL Pro Tour. They were both announcing several events for some exclusive teams out there to get invites to.
Right.
They would compete, and each league had $4+ million in prize pools. So giant announcement for CSGO.
No, that's big.
Now, just days later, Valve has come out in a huge post, which they addressed several problems. One of the problems they said was, hey, we think exclusivity might be bad for the long term, so no, we're not going to give you the right to operate our game if you're going to make teams exclusive.
Good on Valve.
Right?
Valve.
We don't often say good job, Valve.
Honestly, like, very rarely.
Yeah.
That phrase comes out of my mouth about once every decade.
Yeah, and they had a really good Dota 2 update this week as well, and now this post, and it just makes you wonder, like, okay, hey, good for you, but the question I bounce to you, Zan, why do you think someone like Valve can afford then? Because it seems like for the major esports, people are going towards these franchise buy-in so we can make some money leagues.
Right.
Why can Valve afford to maybe not do that, or why would they not want this exclusivity?
Obviously, Valve has like all the money in the world. They own Steam. They own Dota. Like, don't they own Dota?
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Do they own CS:GO at this point? Yes.
Yeah. They operate both.
Right. Like, so, not to mention like them taking a cut of like so much other nonsense off of Steam. Like, Valve doesn't have to worry about getting a piece of the pie. And
I've heard also the debate as well, because they're in the FPS FPS scene. Sorry, used to saying drama a lot this week. They're in the FPS scene with really no competition at their level.
Right.
You have Rainbow Six, which is growing for sure, but
still not even close though.
Yeah, and no one's doing what CS:GO does in their game genre. is what I probably meant to say earlier. And so maybe that's also why they don't need to.
Right.
But it's very weird to compare these two outliers or these two big companies in Valve and Blizzard, because it seems like Blizzard with Overwatch and now Call of Duty, they're like, yo, let's cash in right now.
Yo, to be honest, Blizzard probably doesn't need to either.
Yeah, they don't. It's
Blizzard,
weird. They don't need the money either.
Blizzard, Activision, I feel like people forget. These are some greedy companies.
These are loot box supply
like
drop
capital
companies.
G greedy.
Yeah,
like,
so it's very strange to see. I almost respect Valve even more that we say that. They are waiting out the long-term game.
Right.
And meanwhile, we have Blizzard, who is really betting on franchises being the big thing. And if they're not, you're going to have a lot of teams and organizations pretty mad at Activision for saying they needed to buy in.
Right. And a lot of investors mad too. Because imagine like all the people who put $25 million potentially.
And then if it freaking breaks, Zan, you know who's not coming back to esports to invest? All of those freaking people.
Right.
But either way, a short announcement. It's very strange, but also very cool to see Valve. There is like ESL, DreamHack, and Blast Pro are big organizers.
Right.
And Valve was like, yeah, we see what you're doing. We like it. You're giving us a lot of money for the scene to grow, but no thanks.
Yeah.
Let everyone participate, which is great.
I do actually appreciate. I think this is one of my favorite things about esports versus standard sports. For standard sports, like I imagine there's no way somebody could just be like, yeah, we're in charge of everything. Nah.
Yeah,
but here, just Valve can just be like, yeah, but no, though.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
They have all of the rights
they have all
to their
power.
game. You know, it's rare to see in traditional sports,
right,
one sole company has all the rights to one entire sport. I don't know if you can – there's a crossover there. But, yeah, respect to you, Valve. We'll see what they announce next.
All right, Jake. So I know we were just talking about how great Valve is, but
what the heck did you have in store for me?
But
you were just sitting there the entire time.
Yeah, I was like, this is really funny that because we didn't talk about our stories beforehand.
Before you
this week.
say it, at least you said once every decade you compliment Valve, and you already got it out. So are you gonna nail them back down?
I can go right back to saying, like, hey Valve, y'all need to fix yourselves.
I thought we were going somewhere.
And France agrees with me. So actually, this story is about the French Federal Union of Consumers, who are taking issue with Steam's subscriber agreement. They're basically saying that, well, on Steam's end, the way your game purchases work is, technically speaking, every Steam user, like the user license agreement, I believe that it's in that, they agree that all of your games are subscriptions, not licenses. That way, you don't actually own any of your games on Steam. That's currently how it works.
Okay.
Right? In France,
so when I buy a game on Steam, I don't actually own it?
You don't actually own it. You're buying a subscription that gives you access to that content.
Oh, is that what allows developers to ban people then? Or
I don't think bans work quite the same way, because you can still ban someone who has a license if they abuse that license.
Okay.
But I think this is more to protect Steam in certain ways. Like, for example, if you try to resell your user account or game, Valve can just be like, no.
Okay.
And this is a huge part of what the French courts are saying. Like, hey, users should be allowed to resell their games even if they buy them digitally through Steam.
Wow, it's very interesting. Wow, yeah, because you can't buy and sell Steam accounts.
Yeah, exactly. You get Valve
they will
ban you.
Yeah. That's very interesting.
Even if you try to resell like even just a game, they will ban you.
This is a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
What the heck? I haven't really thought about this like this before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because it's always for a lot of games out there though. For a lot of games, like Fortnite, you can't account share. You can't buy or sell accounts. For RuneScape, you can't real world trade. But Steam's very different because
it's an entire marketplace,
and you're buying the game entirely.
Technically, based on their agreement, you're not buying the game actually.
Yeah, but
they don't tell you
but
that.
Like France thinks you should be. Like it should be yours.
France is saying like, hey, in practice, you're saying it's a subscription, but it's not a subscription, it's a license. So because it's a license, users should be allowed to sell their license.
You really made my brain really kind of complete there. I was thinking about RuneScape and Fortnite compared to Steam now, and it's really kind of like, so are they taking Steam to court about this, or what are they trying to do?
Yeah, they've basically issued a judgment saying like, hey, you guys have, I think they gave them a 30-day time limit. You have to make a change, or they're going to fine them €500,000, I believe it is. Which is nothing.
Yeah. They might just pay this one out to the French.
Honestly,
you win.
Honestly.
Rarity. French going to win the war here. I don't know.
I don't know. Last time Valve made a big change was in that Australian court case, I believe, about game refunds. And Steam walked that back. to allow people to refund their games a lot easier.
Okay.
But they were threatening like a $2.4 million fine.
And this might just be they don't want to drag it out.
Right.
What do we know? Like what the backlash would be though for Steam if they did accept this? Is there anything that would?
I mean, that would
involve. I don't know. That could really ruin that could cause a lot of.
There's a lot of fear mongering, definitely, of people saying if this happens, it'll crash the entire digital economy.
Because I know people that buy and sell Steam accounts.
Right.
They do so illegally.
But
they can make a good chunk of change doing so. What happens then? Are we going to see it just all the time? Just because here's I guess I haven't had the chance to think about it, so it could have more.
Right.
If we were given more time to think about this, all of a sudden we have people botting Steam accounts left and right just to sell for high level accounts. If it's
but I don't.
Is that different?
I don't think the French court doesn't really care about accounts. Honestly,
they
just
care about games only. Okay.
Yeah. So I think their ruling only really touches the games. Oh, and they also ruled on a couple other things. They're like, Steam, this is all anti-consumer as heck. Y'all need to stop. They were also like, Steam should not lock users' funds in their Steam wallet if somebody decides to leave Steam. Like say tomorrow you decide you don't want to be on Steam anymore.
Ooh, and I got $60 or I got $200.
Yeah. They're saying Steam should have to give you an option to pay that money back into whatever bank account you want or whatever.
That's tough because then
not only that.
That's tough.
They were also saying that Valve should be held responsible when anything bad happens to a user because of Steam. Even if it's not Valve's direct fault, even if it's like, say, you download a game in beta, has a virus, Valve should be responsible. Because they are allowing that on their platform.
The French are going off.
Yeah.
This just started with a tiny thing.
I'm not even done.
Oh, my God. What?
They also said Valve shouldn't have the right to exploit mods and other user-generated content in the way they are. They didn't outright say you shouldn't be taking a cut, but they're kind of saying you should not have rights to take a cut. Of mods and user-generated content, like on the Steam marketplace.
I don't know, man. This is getting wishy-washy now.
It's a lot.
That's like almost too many different things to talk on for individual points out there. If we just keep it simple I understand why you'd want the first point of games, the license agreement, but everything else it's a lot of debates. That's a lot of talking back and forth that Valve probably knows a lot more than we do about.
I mean, I would hope they do.
Yeah.
They have the 30 days to. I think they can appeal the decision. Maybe they will. They probably will.
I feel like they have to, especially with the Steam Wallet stuff.
Yeah.
You can't just let people.
Well, I mean, why couldn't you?
Because all of a sudden, then I feel like it would lead to some sort of not even laundering, but transfer of monies to a giant. Let's say my buddy does not want to leave Steam, but he has a bunch of items he wants to cash out. He sends to my brand new Steam account. I sell them on the market, and then I want to leave Steam on my account. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. I don't exactly see what the problem would be with that.
Because because then all of a sudden you're real world trading. Like my buddy.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I get you on that point, right? Obviously, we can't allow straight real world trading, but Steam could just circumvent that by saying like, hey, yeah, if you're trading in-game currency, that's a separate thing. That's completely separate from actual money.
But then all of a sudden, what about everyone who has Steam wallet balances that have used the market and done?
Well, and I think their only recourse, I would imagine Steam has some way to track how you're spending your money exactly. They probably do.
Okay, them having a way to do it and them actually doing it?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm saying I think they could do it. I don't know that they will, but they probably could just say, hey, all this money is coming from games. This is money the person actually put into their account. We'll separate the two. We'll say, oh, hey, this is your Steam bucks or whatever. X amount of Steam bucks is worth X amount of dollars only on Steam. That's all from in-game stuff. Your Steam wallet is your actual money.
Yeah.
Just separate the two.
We'll have to see how this one goes. I'm sure it'll be quite some time until we actually know developments of it.
30 days.
Yeah, and then some time. We'll see.
I think we'll probably know within 30 days, honestly, one way or another.
And we'll see if Valve can keep up their good responses.
Yeah.
Because this one's a heck of a one.
Yeah, honestly, they do seem like they're paying attention more. Lately, this year anyway.
Don't let us down. I don't know if there's a right answer, to be honest.
Yeah, there probably isn't. It's all very complicated.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to see it happening.
For sure. All right, Zan, closing story. We've talked a lot about Twitch over the past few weeks, man.
Favorite website on the internet.
It does.
Just the classiest people.
It really makes you curious how a platform like this has actually become the titan they are. Latest, I think, reports say they have like 75% of the streaming world. The stream market, they have the control and power over there, and it does continue. Their subjective bans just push me to a point where I don't even know how to respond to most of them. It's like, every time we make videos about it, they do well. People agree, and people are all generally on the same standpoint about this kind of stuff, but nothing's ever done. And I'm going to talk about not even the Chun-Li story. I probably mispronounced it anyway.
Yeah, a little bit.
Didn't even go into that one.
Jake doesn't play Street Fighter. Don't get mad at him.
So if anyone knows that story. Another, I would say, wrongful ban or suspension, whatever you want to call it. This one, though, is actually around the Gen G streamer, Overwatch streamer known as Fariha. She actually was streaming in her gym clothes. If you guys did not hear about this, she was wearing, I believe it's called a halter top. Something to cover her shoulders, and she was wearing not even a revealing at all sports bra, and again covering shoulders, showing a tiny bit of her stomach in her gym clothes. And she was given 90-day probation. She was also limited in the services she could use on the platform. And literally in the email they said, use this as a warning. And so what kind of made me mad is obviously she wasn't banned, but she was put on 90 days probation. And during that time,
that's kind of ridiculous.
During that time, you're watched over even more eagle-eyed. It just blows my mind because we literally have, and again, I do not mean to offend people by this, but we have several streamers, both male and especially female as well, I'm sure you guys know this, that use that platform for an audience where they can reveal more than your typical streamer. I think that's a fair way to put it.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Amaranth is certainly a girl who has a motion. She has certainly, there is an audience she is targeting. There's an objective she is trying to accomplish on her streams.
Just to set some context, we can't look up Amaranth in the office.
We're not allowed to Google.
We literally have to go in a separate room and close the door, because if we just try to look up, I try to make a thumbnail or something, I just type in Amaranth.
That's
it's
all you can do.
All borderline in SFW.
You can even type in Amaranth stream on Google and watch out. Don't have your parents around. That's allowed on the platform every single day.
Yeah.
And and again, I don't mean to get too pissed off, but when it comes in the gaming scene, we gotta defend our people.
It's just like, it's honestly, it's getting to the point where I feel like Twitch is just leaning into it. We jumped the shark like 3 of these ago,
and they're just jabbing at everybody now, and they're trying to trigger us, and it's worked out.
Yeah.
So Amaranth can do that every single day. Again, you Google it yourselves, guys. Streaming in much worse, much more revealing than Fariha was. Fariha does it once. She is not known at all to be doing to be a revealing streamer. She's an Overwatch streamer for Gen G, very appropriate, very respectable in the things she wears.
Very professional.
Yes, and one time she does it, she gets caught and put on 90 days probation.
Right.
Meanwhile, Amaranth, to get I believe a 2 or 3 day ban, to get that ban, she had to roll around on the floor and reveal a private part of her body. And finally, Twitch had to react because she had. I don't know where to take this.
And not even to target Amaranth too much. It happens. There
are
many
other ones.
You can find so many problematic Twitch streams where, like, heck, who knows if they're even really problematic? It's a problem because Twitch is saying, hey, it's okay if they do it, but it's not okay if everybody else does it.
Yes, and it's like they're right. There is the direct problem right there. And yes, it's much more than Amaranth. She's just a very obvious example because she shows so much on stream compared to Fariha.
She's so ridiculous about it,
and she's very open about it. You know, right? You know, props to her. She obviously is not scared. She doesn't receive warnings though, and when it comes to bans, it takes a lot to actually get her bans. So either way, at this point, it's just so blatantly obvious and easy to complain about. It's almost like we need bigger stories to actually talk about Twitch nowadays.
Well, I mean, not gonna lie, part of why I got a little bit more sketched out by that Play Versus thing by hearing the Twitch co-founder was involved.
Oh gosh, yeah, I guess. At this point,
Twitch is really poisoning their well. Like I have so little faith, and like I see Twitch's name on something, I feel like let me walk the other direction.
It makes you question because if they operate like this on this platform, and yes, they have done so much for gaming, so much for esports.
Definitely.
They own the market.
Definitely.
But it's so surprising that we've talked about Huya, we've talked about Mixer not really doing their thing, but this is the time to come into the market and actually truly treat people the way they should be treated.
Definitely.
And that sounds so cliche and so middle school like, but if someone does it right and they have the viewership, Twitch is done.
See, that's why I feel so much more confident about Huya, because Tencent knows how to make money.
Yeah.
If nothing else. And Tencent will just be like, hey, here's our list of rules. We follow these rules. Everybody follows the rules. And even just that, I would immediately say, like, yeah, I'll
follow
watch
your rule book, and you're already doing a better job than Twitch. But yeah, I'm sure I'll be back here next week complaining about Twitch bans, guys. But shouts to you, Fariha. One comedic thing: the next day after she was given her probation, she had her title of her stream say, "They can't ban me if they can't see my body," and she just had a hologram of her head playing while she was streaming. So shouts to her.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We'll see if Twitch gets any better, man.
All right, so kind of in the same vein as that Play Versus story from earlier. Pardon me. We have another doctor.
I burped the same time you did. Sorry, that was right.
I'm glad we're not wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, like
that'd be bad. Like, okay, so we have this doctor, Rohit Agarwal, right, saying that gaming injuries are essentially the same as basketball players. Like, because they can get bad. They can get real bad, apparently.
What's his name again?
Rohit Agarwal. I might be mispronouncing that. I'm sorry if I am.
That's what we're going to start up. You can make some bold statements here on the show, Zan.
Yeah, I try to keep it spicy.
Esports injuries can be as bad as basketball ones.
Yeah, this guy is he's a senior accident and emergency doctor.
Okay.
Couldn't find out which hotel, or not hotel. In a way, hospitals are hotels, you know?
You ever show up to a hotel and all of a sudden a doctor pops out?
Well, I mean, there are places in town here where you can get an IV drip, so shout out Vegas.
In a way, hospitals are hotels. You're not wrong.
If you really think about it.
Like, oh my God, like you're actually right. When you think about it, you're just staying over the night for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, right. But anyway, he says, this is a quote from him. The strain being placed on wrist, lower arms, and almost every muscle and bone in the neck and back from playing for hours in a bad posture position is not unlike the physical strain the body would suffer during a high-impact sport.
That made me straighten my back.
Yeah, right? You read something like that, and you're like,
instantly just, okay. I mean, he has a point.
Yeah, apparently he had a patient come into the ER in such bad pain that homie was screaming, like, like honestly, like
please tell me he wasn't coming from a gaming session.
Rohit did an initial examination, and he said he thought that person had been suffering. He thought he'd been in a road traffic accident.
Jesus Christ!
Because
what was this guy doing on his PC?
Apparently, he was playing computer games for 10 hours straight.
Like at what point?
Probably like just like this.
At what point though, during his gaming session, did he just start screaming like? And then all of a sudden, I gotta go to the hotel. And all the way there, he's just yelling in pain.
Right.
Like, at what point do you realize that the pain you're going, and all of a sudden, then you start yelling? Like, he's got oh man, that's just, what the heck?
Yeah, that's such like a rough situation to be in.
Was he actually screaming on his way in?
Apparently, yeah, according to Rohit, yeah, he was just
sounds like a drama queen over there. Well, Jesus.
Yeah. Apparently, eye fatigue is the most common complaint, which I feel like is most likely to affect actual normal people who aren't sitting in terrible posture for 10 hours straight.
Sorry, did they name the guy that was in?
They did not name the guy. I mean,
so
I don't think they could.
Okay, yeah.
Doctor-patient confidentiality.
10-hour gaming session.
10 hour.
He comes in. This doctor's like, I thought you were in a freaking roadside accident.
Right? Yeah.
What kind of shape were his hands in? Was he just like refusing to be examined? Just like I just don't get how we get to this point.
Who knows? To be honest, the dude was probably lying about it being 10 hours. He was probably embarrassed. It was probably closer to like 20, 24, something like that.
Yeah, 10.
Right.
Just bloodshot eyes, just wrist won't move.
Not to not to downplay how impactful this probably actually could be for people, but at the same time, like, just game in moderation. I think both of us have blue light glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get up every once in a while. People tell you, hydrate, get up every once in a while, move around.
Yeah.
Did they give him like, afterwards, did they tell like what?
Dude didn't go into detail about that. He was just like, yeah, this happened. It was real bad.
This might be a one-off, folks.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying he's seen it like other times too.
Yeah.
He just has this one moment which was like really, really bad. And honestly, he said warming up before competing in esports should be taken as seriously as it should be in other sports.
Fair play to him.
Well, yeah, he's like, hey, stretch your back, stretch your arms, stretch your hands.
I'm just imagining,
rest your eyes.
What if all of a sudden this comes like a epidemic where like everyone after 10 hours just starts screaming, like you can't stop. Rohit's just getting a bunch of patients just after 10 hours. Just, but I mean, I think I'm more interested. I'm more interested in the long-term effects.
Right. Yeah, definitely. I think that's where we're seeing a lot of the current problems, because he was saying they've noticed an uptick in complaints about insomnia And whenever they track those back to the source, they say, hey, these are people who have been looking at screens for too long. And basically what looking at a blue light screen, I think it suppresses the melatonin that your body releases, which you need to sleep properly. And that can cause insomnia. Yeah. So really messes with people.
And we do see esports pro players have injuries. So and I don't think we've been established in video games as like actual esports, like people going hard for 8 to 10 hours a day, if not longer, long enough.
I think a lot of pros do, but they probably aren't being vocal about, hey,
and they're not
I messed my wrist up.
Yeah, like I've only seen probably 2 handfuls worth of like serious pro injuries.
Right.
And so I'm very interested where we'll be 10 years from now, where people are like, oh yeah, your necks are 30 degrees slanted now if you're a gamer, or your wrists are way weaker. So I think it's a very interesting topic. So I'm glad we brought it up.
You know, speaking of wrists specifically, I know a couple people, not esports players at all, who played Kid Icarus for the Nintendo DS, whose wrists are now actually damaged because they spent so much time doing that.
Jesus Christ, we're gonna get made fun of.
That game was so bad. Oh, to be fair, that game was bad. It was built poorly.
Yeah.
You had to like use like a claw to play it or something.
And people did.
Yeah,
doesn't matter
how they did, and now
they wouldn't stop.
And now their wrists are actually like. Oof.
We'll see. Hopefully next time we talk about this, it'll be I don't know if we can get.
We'll both be in like back
guys,
braces.
How long you game for, Zan?
Yeah.
10? 10?
No, it was only 5. You know, I swear.
And with that though, is that all we got for?
Yeah, that's all we got for the week. You know.
Oh my goodness gracious! Another podcast down. You got any announcements to make there, though, Xander?
You know, just the standard housekeeping stuff. You know, as always, don't forget, if you want to listen to us, the Esports Rewind on the go. We are now part of the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network. That is Prediction with 2 E's. PREEDICTION. Right?
Nice spelling, dude.
Hey, you know.
So pretty much if you guys want to listen to us on the go on iTunes or Spotify, we're now on there. So a pretty cool way to actually get us, just audio level. We know we're probably annoying with face. So if you want us just audio, hello and welcome. We just wanted to kind of...
I had to start doing some ASMR for the rest of our podcast.
A great way to get out there more for all of us and kind of spread the esports news on other platforms. So
yeah, definitely. You know what? As always, for all of your daily esports gaming news, be sure to check out our YouTube channel, Esports Talk. We got a website, esportstalk.com. Keep up to date with everything we're doing at our Twitter, talk_esports.
Yeah.
Trust we'll get the actual Esports Talk Twitter account one day. And, our DMs are open, so if you have a story to share, you have a question to ask, anything at all, just send us a message on Twitter. I literally I have a tweet deck window open. I check all of our messages. I try to get to them all. We get a lot of messages. I can't respond to them all.
And we actually got a couple stories from you guys last week, so we greatly appreciate you guys reaching out. Yeah. And with that, that's episode number 19. Thank you all for listening. As always, my name is Jake. This is Zan. We're going to tink our cans for all you audio listeners out there. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys back here next time.